Okay, so let's get started on these hands. I'm going to create a layer for the hands. Go ahead and filter that out. And for this part, let's go ahead and show the joints again. I'm just going to block in. This layer is just going to have this one joint, which might seem silly, but I think I like separating out the fingers. Let's see here. Let's grab the hand joint and rotate this down. And then just do a couple small iterations, keeping an eye on that volume here. There's not a lot of geometry here to work with, so I think this is going to be fine. Also, there's armor that's going to cover this up and help a little bit as well. Alright, so let's create a layer. This is going to be called the fingers layer. And one of the other things I like, actually the default Maya tools do this as well, but if you do the search field here, you can type in things like thumb, index, middle, ring, pinky. Separate them by a comma and a space, and it will filter out all those things for you. So in fingers, let's start with the thumb. I'm going to rigid weight all of these, and then at the very end, I will smooth the weights. So for a little bit here, it's going to be kind of blocky. But that's okay. You'll notice that I am skinning the loop that has the knuckle in here as well. Like so. And that's it for the thumb. We'll probably do some cleanup after we smooth it, but let's move on to the index. So again, making sure I start with the loop that has the knuckle. And going all the way down the finger. Making sure you get in between the fingers as well. Like that. I used to really hate skinning fingers when I was a student learning this stuff. It just always seemed so daunting with the amount of joints and things, but it really just comes down to having a good workflow and just kind of, you know, doing it like this. It's actually really fast to skin all these and get pretty good looking results. Let's just go through there. You also have to be careful not to get weights on anything else, although there is a really nice feature in NG Skin Tools if you do as well, so I can probably go over that at some point during this process. Alright. And then the last knuckle here, let me turn down the joint size. It's quite large. You know, one thing I didn't actually check on this model was the size of the character to see if it was going to be, you know, sometimes you get a model off a marketplace and it's this super tiny thing because it was modeled in some weird program or some weird unit of measurement. So let's do measure tools, and I'm just gonna do one here and here. Okay, so cool. She's I'm in centimeters, so that's pretty good. I think 180 is kind of you're 6 foot tall kind of person, so that's good. That would have been annoying, but not the end of the world. All right, moving right along to the ring finger. I also like to use the brush shape that has the one over here to the left. Basically, it has no fall off. Fall off can kind of get you into trouble in spots like this where you don't have a lot of space, and it can kind of bleed weights over to areas where you don't want them. So I usually am always painting with a brush that has no fall off. And instead I just rely on the smoothing tools to do the fall off. Okay, so ring 2. Let's go ahead and lock those in. And then ring 03. And because the pinky, we did add a metacarpal, it's going to be a little bit different in how we skin, but not too much. All right. So the pinky, we're just going to start up here. This is where setting your influences display to like multiple colors can actually be really useful, because you can kind of see where all your influences currently are. So on fingers and hands, I usually will do that because it's much nicer to see. Of course, when we smooth, some of this stuff is going to get mixed anyway, right? So the area between the fingers will kind of get 50-50, which is good. You can also see we missed a spot here. Go back to the pinky, and I'm going to go a little bit more inward like that. All right. Almost done. We're in the home stretch here. This kind of model in this poly count range is I enjoy. It's much faster than doing like a very high poly mesh. The methodology is still the exact same in terms of how I go about it, but I think the more loops you have, sometimes people think that that's actually just going to deform better, but really it just means that it's more stuff to have to manage and polish, especially in areas with joints like this. Because all those loops will just compress, and sometimes they'll overlap each other, so yeah. All right, so there we go. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to grab the index, middle, ring, and pinky without the metacarpal, and we're going to rotate them. I also do not love that this is already posed, but like it's not a very neutral hand model pose, but whatever, it's fine. And the reason I'm doing this is just so that when I start to smooth the weights, it'll be really easy to see what's kind of going on. Like here you can see massive volume loss, but I'm going to go to set weights, smooth, and just start applying that. And you can kind of see some of the stuff. We still have a big problem here, but we'll address that. Oh, I need to go back a bit. This got two... do maybe one click is enough, maybe a second click. Yeah, okay, that feels good. And then in here what we'll do is we'll just fix this. So let's hide the joints, go into paint, And most likely we just need to go into this thumb here and just start going into add, and instead we're going to remove it. So I'm going to hold down Control to get those influences out. You can also just try to smooth it with the smooth brush. Okay, let's see. Yeah, the thumb's still causing quite a bit of indentation there, so let's try to get that influence out. I'm going to take Sometimes if you're trying to back out a large amount of weights like this, I'll use the scale brush. And that looks a little bit better. You can also go down here to current influence grayscale so we can really make sure that we're removing So the pinky metacarpal we can use to kind of give an arch to the fist. And we'll go ahead and mirror those weights over. And I think that's good enough for now. We can go and get those in games in a bit and see how they're looking with some proper animation on them. But you can kind of see the knuckle thing I was talking about. I like that if you look at the silhouette of this, I really like to keep those things nice and sharp and not like little round, like sausages, but something with a little bit more structure to them. And I think that's pretty much it for the hands. Let's go ahead and get the arm armor on. Okay. So usually I will have a script that I can use to copy weights over to this, but I don't have that script here at home. So let's just do it through Maya instead. So what we'll do is, I believe for, let's just see here, I think it needs to be skin. Copy skin weights. Yeah, so let's go ahead and add some influences to this. We will do basically everything, the upper arm, lower arm, and the upper arm twist for both sides. You probably don't need them, but I'd rather have them than not. So let's go ahead and skin, bind skin. Now we can go ahead and skin, copy skin weights. Let's go to the options. So we have 1-to-1 and closest joint. Let's see how that did. Interesting. Didn't do great. That's all right. Not sure why that happened. Let's try it again. Skin, copy skin weights. Interesting. Well, we'll fix it. Come in here, and because we don't have a lot to deal with here, we're just going to clean that up. So let's go ahead and make sure that that's cleaned up. We're going to smooth this out. So what we should see is upper arm twists, or lower arm twist 1 and 2 with their weights, and then we'll see some upper arm stuff here for the elbow pad. So let's just see how this is looking. Still have an issue there, but we'll fix it. This is looking all right though. Normally you could decide what to do here, if you wanted it to be soft weighted so that it kind of keeps the elbow covered, or we could also try having it be 100% rigid. First though, let's fix this lower arm twist. There we go. So looks like there's just like a little hint. There we go. So now it's staying with it. Looks good. When you do the hand, it is going to clip when you go up, but when you go down, it's fine. We can kind of go about that two ways. Again, we could try to soft weight some of that, and I might create a layer and try that. That's the other thing I love about a layered workflow is you can kind of create a layer and try something, and then if it doesn't work, just delete the layer, which is what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to create a layer for the elbow and try a couple things. So we could try to just flood this to the lower arm, and you can see what that does. Don't love that. So we could try instead to flood it to the upper arm, and yeah, don't love that either. The nice thing too is because it's in a layer, we can go to the effects tab here, and there's the opacity, so we can actually kind of blend in, or take a percentage of that if we wanted to, something like that. And then we can do the same thing here. So let's go ahead and new layer. I didn't put the hand in the cluster, so let's go ahead and do that. Hand and hand. Skin, edit influence, go to the add influence options and make sure that lock weights is checked. That way it does not automatically add any influences there. And we'll just add a little bit of hand weights. We'll smooth them, and then we'll test what this looks like. And again, we can go into effects and kind of see if we can find maybe a sweet spot if we wanted to go this way at all. The other thing we can do is just do the top, so that way the bottom still is rigid, and maybe just the top is getting that bend. So first, let's get this working so that it doesn't clip at all. I'm going to go to add. right. Maybe something like that. So it moves a little bit, but not too much. And if we decide we don't want it, we can always turn it off. One thing to keep in mind with layers is that you have to mirror each layer. So we're going to go back to base weights, mirror, elbow, mirror, and hand, mirror. Now if we double check over here, everything should be good. And yeah, let's call it there.